Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about nutrients and the nutrients that provide fuel and they help your body function. So, first of all, what is a nutrient? Well, a nutrient is a substance, it's something that's in your food that your body needs to grow, to have energy, and to stay healthy. It's something your body needs in order to function. So, scientists have identified over 40 nutrients out there in our world. So there is a lot of nutrients out there, but we are going to focus primarily on six of them. Now, the best way to get all of your nutrients is by eating a variety of foods, not by taking vitamin supplements, but by eating a variety of foods. So here are just briefly our six nutrients: water, minerals, fats, vitamins, proteins, and carbohydrates. Now let's look at them one at a time. First of all, let's talk about the difference between metabolism and calories. So, food supplies energy. Metabolism is the chemical process that your body uses to break down the food to release the energy. It gets very complicated and it gets very science like real fast. So, we're not going to talk about it a ton, but that's what metabolism is. Your body breaks down the food to release the energy. That energy that's released is measured in something called calories. I have no idea how I moved this little toolbar, but I guess I did. Calories are the amount of energy released when nutrients are broken down. So when you hear something has 100 calories, okay, that's how many calories were released when the nutrients in that substance were broken down. There are three nutrients that provide energy: fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. There we go. We'll leave that up there. Okay. First, we're going to talk about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, there, I can make myself smaller. Carbohydrates are, the purpose of them is they supply the energy for your body's functions. They are your primary energy source. Your body's daily intake of calories, 45 to 65% of those calories should be coming from carbohydrates. Now, there are two kinds of carbohydrates: simple and complex. Okay, here's a bunch of foods. Let's talk about which are simple carbohydrates and which are complex. Simple carbohydrates are sugars. Simple starts with S, sugars starts with S. Okay, complex carbohydrates are things like pastas. Okay, so here's your pasta. Potatoes go under complex. And grains or breads go under complex. Okay, so those are, and here's some rice that goes under complex. So those are the better carbohydrates, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Simple carbohydrates are sugars. So you've got your cookie, your soda pop, your cupcake, and your candy. All of those are considered simple carbohydrates. Basically, all they do is provide a lot of energy and they don't provide any nutrients that are substantial. Remember, 45 to 65%. Oh, great. Those are all going to stay up there. Ha! I have to erase these. That's interesting. Okay. So here's our foods back. This is silly. Sorry about this. I'm not going to use that if I have to erase it every time. Okay. Carbohydrates. Here's the simple and the complex and the foods under each. Okay? This is a slide that you may want to pause on because there's some questions on your guided notes about the information here. Complex carbs are good, and this explains why they're good and gives you some sample foods. They're high in fiber and nutrients. Okay, they help you feel full with fewer calories, and they help stimulate metabolism. Simple carbs are bad, and this will tell you why they're bad. Okay. All right, proteins. Just like there were two different kinds of proteins or carbohydrates, there's two different kinds of proteins. Proteins help your body grow, they help your body heal, and they help develop. They also build and repair body tissues. Okay. So you've heard of people taking protein supplements when they lift weights. Your muscles get bigger because they're repairing themselves and they're building on themselves. It's the protein that does that. The actual lifting of the weight breaks your muscle down. It's that repair that causes it to grow bigger. So there are two kinds of proteins. There are complete proteins and incomplete proteins. Amino acids are the little units that make up a protein. So you maybe hear something on a commercial or something about amino acids. They're just talking about the little parts of a protein. So proteins should be 15 to 20% of your daily calories. 15 to 20% of your daily calories. Here are a bunch of foods that contain protein. Some are complete, some are incomplete. How do you know the difference? It's easy. Complete proteins come from animal products. Complete proteins come from animal products. So take a moment. Okay, we've got some wild rice, we've got some beans, we've got some garbanzo beans, and then we've got some steak and some fish and some milk and cheese and some eggs. Take a second to think about which of these are complete and which are incomplete. All right, here is where they fall. Okay, your complete proteins are from animal products, remember? So your eggs, your fish, your steak, your milk. And these incomplete proteins are your garbanzo beans, your black beans, and your wild rice. Okay. These are some protein rich foods that don't have meat or nuts. Now, cheese is in here and so is milk. So if somebody doesn't eat any animal products at all, if they don't eat eggs or milk or cheese or any of those things, this limits these things. Then your hummus, popcorn, avocado. Okay. You eliminate the cheeses and things and concentrate on those. So, yes, you can get a lot of protein without eating a lot of meat. All right, let's talk about fats. Fats do some important things in the body. They promote growth, they give you energy, and they keep your skin healthy. They also help build and maintain cell membranes. They carry certain vitamins. When we learn about vitamins, we will learn about fat soluble vitamins. They're carried in the bloodstream. And fats, if you were keeping track of our percentages, fats should be less than 30% of the daily calories. However, all fats are not the same. So now we're going to break fats down into categories. Difference here, there are three kinds of fats. You've got unsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature. They're oils, vegetable oils. They come from plant sources. And they're good for you. They lower the risk of heart disease. We'll talk more about heart disease and cholesterol in a minute. These are the good fats. These are good. We like them. They're good for us. Then we have saturated fats. Saturated fats are solid at room temperature. They are from animal sources. Things like butter, lard, okay? Things that are animal sources that are solid at room temperature. Unfortunately, they aren't that good for us. They increase the risk of heart disease, and we'll talk about why in a second. These are bad. Unfortunately, when we eat a lot of fats that have meats that have fat in them, the animal source fats are not good for us. Then we have a third type of fat called trans fats. These are liquid at room temperature, and then they are hydrogenized so that they become solid at room temperature, but they can be very soft, solid but soft in room temperature, like spreadable butters. Okay. They are a vegetable oil product that's hydrogenated. Okay. So they chemically change the molecular formula of the substance so that it is solid. Now, trans fats are not good at all. They increase the risk of heart disease, and they are very bad, really bad. Okay. In fact, some substances, trans fats used to be what all of the French fries in McDonald's were fried in trans fats because it has a long shelf life and it doesn't, it's cheap and it tastes good. So it's in a lot of different food products. Now, the trend in the last 10 years or so has been to eliminate trans fats because people figured out how bad they were. So a lot of the packaging on cookies and crackers and snack foods will say no trans fats, no trans fats. It's like a badge of honor now because people know how bad they are. So we've got the good unsaturated, got the bad saturated, and the really bad trans fats. So let's look at these products right here. What kind of fats do you think those are? Let's look at these right here. What kind of fats do you think those are? And the last group, what kind of fats do you think these are? The answer is A is saturated fats, B is unsaturated fats, and C is trans fats. So let's talk for a second about what cholesterol is. You always hear about cholesterol, blah, 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 blah. Well, cholesterol is actually a substance that your body uses to build cells. It's like a waxy, fat-like substance. And it also makes other substances. So it has a good purpose. Now, there's two different kinds of cholesterol. Okay, there's cholesterol made of high density lipoproteins or HDLs. They are good. They protect against heart disease. Okay, and they are found in unsaturated fat. And if you exercise, your body will produce more of them. Excuse me. Then, of course, where there is good, there is bad. Pardon me. The low density lipoproteins, these lead to heart disease, and they are found And I'm sorry, I have to take a drink of water. They're found in the saturated fats and the trans fats. So, this is what they call bad cholesterol, and this is what they call good cholesterol. You've maybe heard of bad cholesterol and good cholesterol. And it's tied to the fat that we eat. All right, last slide. What is cholesterol? Too much cholesterol in the blood can create blockages. Okay, so here you've got the blood flowing easily through this blood vessel. If the cholesterol builds up, it begins to narrow that opening. And when that blood flow stops, it's a complete blockage. Now, if this blockage occurs in one of these arteries that are on the outside of the heart, supplying the heart with oxygen, they're called coronary arteries. If this blockage occurs in one of these coronary arteries, a person can have a heart attack. That is what a heart attack is. And the person, they'll need to open that up. And there's different ways to open it up. They can do what they call a balloon angioplasty, where they just push it open. And then I'm oversimplifying. And then they can also do a bypass, where they split it and make it go around and connect to avoid the blocked area. All right. If you have more questions on that, you can look it up. You can ask me. This is the end of the video lesson 1. Have a good day.